If you hold ULTY and you are concerned about the falling price, then this video is for you because today I'm going to go through this Google Sheet where I have all the tickers that ULTY currently holds, as well as their market value and weighting. And we're just going to look and see under the hood what is going on with ULTY. Why has the price been falling so rapidly very recently? And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my plan for what I'm doing to protect myself from that falling price. So if you're new here, welcome, glad to have you. And if you're a current subscriber or you've watched some of my videos in the past before, thanks so much for watching another one. I do appreciate it. And we'll get right into it. This Google Sheet has the positions that ULTY has. I pulled it straight from the website. You can download all their holdings here. This is as of, I think, market close on September 5th when I downloaded this. There have been some after-hour trades that have certainly gone up, and we'll get into why some of those went up. Robinhood's an example of that. This went up after hours pretty significantly, which was nice to see. But anyways, I pulled all these stocks that ULTY holds here. The options positions are listed below, but right now we're just going to focus on the stocks and what they've been doing. So we have the market value, like I said. The two that I've highlighted in yellow are the cash holdings ULTY currently has. So they usually keep it in FGXXX, a money market fund that has a decent yield. Looks like they have a pretty high cash balance right now that's either going to get deployed to more stocks or it's going to go into this money market fund. So don't expect this 4% to remain too high. Now, what else do we have? We have the weightings here. You can see that the largest holding is AppLovin. The smallest holding is Webull, and we have the beta. So the beta is basically how much volatility there is in the stock. So one is it's pretty similar to what's going on in the market. Anything below a 1 is it's less volatile than the market. Anything above a 1 is it's going to be more volatile. Then we've got a 52-week high from here. So these are the prices. So for example, AppLovin right now is trading at $500. Its 52-week high was 525. We've got the percent off of the high, so it's down 4.79% off the high, which is a good thing. So in this column, green is good. That means you're closer to your high than not. Red is bad. So an example, Webull, they're trading at $13.28. Their 52-week high was $26. Even though actually when they IPO'd or they went public through that SPAC, Webull shot up to like $70. I'm not going to count that. I'm just going to say $26 because that's really where their high was. They're off about half of that. You got your 52 weeks low and your percent off of the low. So for this one, you actually want a larger number. So again, RGTI is 2,262% off of the 52-week low, which is great to see. So they're at $15. Their 52-week low was 64 cents. And this column here, below 52-week average, this is basically taking the 52-week high, 52-week low, adding that, dividing that by 2, and saying, is the current price below that 52-week average, or is it above? And then lastly, just some context here. Did this IPO this year? Because they may not have a true 52-week high or low if they haven't been around for over a year. So that kind of orients you guys to what's going on here and summarizes things nicely. Let's just start with the weightings here. We see that AppLovin is the highest concentration there. So that's going to have the highest or the biggest impact on ULTY. So the more AppLovin goes up, the more ULTY will hopefully go up. And the more AppLovin goes down, the more ULTY will probably go down. Like I said, the smallest ones are about 2.5%, almost 3%. We've got Webull and CoreWeave. And those ones, thankfully, have a low beta because they have not been doing well. So let's jump straight into the 52-week highs. And actually, we'll go into the 52-week highs. So these ones are the ones that are doing the worst and the ones that have the biggest drag on the portfolio. So you see CoreWeave, Webull, MicroStrategy, and then new scale, which is the like uranium one, I think. And we can see that they are pretty significantly off their 52-week high. And it's not a good thing because if you look at where the overall NASDAQ is, that is like less than 1% off its 52-week high. So the overall markets are up, not too far from their all-time highs, but a lot of the positions in ULTY are off of their 52-week highs. So we can reveal it down here, and you'll see that 76% of the portfolio is more than 10% away from its all-time high. 61% of the portfolio is over 15% away from the all-time high. And almost half the portfolio is in a bear market, meaning 20% off its all-time high, or its 52-week high, rather. And if you look at the 52-week lows, so green is good, red is bad. Red means it's closer to its 52-week low. Green means it's pretty far from its 52-week low. We want more in the green if you're holding ULTY. And so we do see that, well, a lot of them are relatively high off of their lows. Like, for example, this one, Tesla, its low was 210, and now it's 338, but its high was almost $500. And if you look at, this whole portfolio, the average beta is, I think it was right, 2.1. So pretty high. You're going to expect these huge swings. And let's look at average percent off high and average percent off low to give you some more context around here. So on average, we're 22% away from the 52-week highs. And on average, we are 340% off the lows. So off the lows is good, but off the highs, being that far down, 22% is also bad. Now, but to be expected in some cases with these high volatility stocks. Now, again, this one doesn't need too much explaining, but you got 4 stocks. So 4 out of the, let's call it 21 right now, because we're not counting the cash. So 20% of the stocks are below their 52-week average, which is another thing that's dragging down the portfolio. And 2 of them just debuted this year. So let's look at some of the context of what's actually going on with just a few of these stocks. So we look at, this is the Seeking Alpha website where I've collected all the stocks that ULTY holds, just so you can get a high-level overview of what's going on. You see that Unity Software was up on Friday. Let's sort it from low to high. We see that Webull was down, Affirm was down, Coinbase down. But if we look at the below there, I'm going to have to zoom in for you guys. You'll see that in their after-hours trading, like Robinhood was up 6%, AppLovin up 6%. And so I looked into that and what was actually going on. And actually, before I go into that, where's MicroStrategy? MicroStrategy was down almost 3%. There's some news articles around here where Robinhood and AppLovin were now included in the S&P 500. I think last week Robinhood didn't quite make it, and its stock went down. But this week, AppLovin and Robinhood now included in the S&P 500. Strategy didn't quite make it, and then 2 other stocks got kicked out to provide room for Robinhood and AppLovin. So kind of an example of news headlines that maybe not fundamental to the businesses, but certainly impact the price and therefore the performance of ULTY, because ULTY was overall up on the day on Friday. And one example of things that can go down is CoreWeave. So CoreWeave, this stock's been down for a bit now, and if we pull up TradingView, CRWV, and we look at how CoreWeave's done, it had a nice run up, and a lot of this impacted the overall price of ULTY and brought it up. But let's go down. Let's go to percentages. You can see that, oh, it had a nice rally there. There it is, down 51% since then. This seemed to be a nice rally. I wonder what that was. Up 45. Draw another one. But then down 40. So definitely not good. But this was because the insiders were allowed to sell their stock and they wanted to kind of get out of it and probably diversify, because a lot of them just probably became either billionaires or mega millionaires, centillionaires. And that's what insiders tend to do. So hopefully that sell-off was the last we'll see of a big sell-off in CoreWeave, and we can get some sort of rally there, because that one, as you'll see, where'd CoreWeave go? That one is one of the worst performers there, 53%. Actually, it is the worst performer, 53% off the 52-week high and below the 52-week average. So what can be done about this? Well, I'm going to share with you now my plan and what I'm doing. And it's pretty simple, 3-step plan, or 3 processes that can be implemented. Number 1 is a stop loss order. I'm going to determine basically how much of a loss am I willing to take on Ulti before I just throw in the towel and say no more. I wouldn't want it to go down 50%. I don't think I'd even be comfortable with more than 20% down. But remember, this would be including the distribution. So it's not just Ulti goes down in price 20%, because if the distributions make up for that, it may only be down about 10%, in which case, give it some more time to run. I would give it more time for these stocks to recover. So like a total return loss of about 20%, I would not be comfortable with. So that's probably where I'm going to put my stop loss order. Continue to monitor the largest holdings. The risk here is that the largest holdings start to go down, like AppLovin, Rocket Lab, Oklo. Those ones, if they start to tank, that's going to spell serious trouble for Ulti. So keep a very close eye on those. And then finally, I don't think I'll be reinvesting. I'd rather take the cash that I'm getting paid from Ulti, use it to cover bills, or diversify into other positions. Diversification is one of the best ways to mitigate risk. So that's, definitely a solid strategy, in my opinion, and something that you could do with the cash that Ulti pays out. So there it is, guys. That's what I'm going to be doing. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you got some value out of it, if you learned something, I'd appreciate the like. And if you didn't, there's something else you were hoping to see or wanted to see, leave a comment below and let me know. I'll, take your feedback and incorporate it into the next video. So keep an eye. If you hold Ulti, keep an eye on all these positions, because those are what affect the underlying price and to a certain extent can affect your distributions as well. So take care, guys. See you in the next video.